From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Less Levine, it's a Thursday night. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Less Levine into our 23rd consecutive year. And, of course, seen exclusively on cleveland.com. Also seen exclusively the D-Man, Dennis Manoloff of cleveland.com and the Plain Dealer. And you are fired up. I haven't seen you this fired up in a long time. What are you fired up about? Make something up.
Just happy to be here. That should get you fired up enough. And then, of course, there's plenty to talk about. As you know.
You made it, despite the weather, you made it here?
Yeah, I mean, it's cold. There's no question about it. I mean, you know, you hear some people laugh it off. Like, even in our day, we used to deal with that cold. Well, I was outside before I came here. I got out of the car and I walked around for a couple of minutes, and I felt, it's not too bad. And then minutes number 4, 5, and 6, all of a sudden.
Your fingers are falling off.
Yeah, the wind chill is real. I mean, it is real.
Yeah. Well, tomorrow it'll get better, and Saturday even better than that. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. You can email us during the show at reallesslevine@gmail.com. I've had a couple of emails at my other address, which I still have, the AOL one, and people are asking me, is that still in order? Yeah, if it's a personal thing, it's MS&LL at AOL.com. If it involves the show during the show, however, it's this, reallesslevine at gmail.com. The D-Man with us. All right, it is the Super Bowl edition of More Sports and Less Levine. What do you think? The proven guys who've done it a whole bunch of times, Belichick and Brady, or the new guys, the upstarts from Los Angeles?
I'm going with the veterans, the experienced crew, Belichick and Brady leading the way, of course. I wrote for the Plain Dealer and cleveland.com that I think the Patriots will win decisively, in part because I don't see the Patriots losing Super Bowls in back-to-back years.
Right.
The last time a team, by my count, had lost 2 Super Bowls in a row in consecutive years was the Bills.
Had to be the Bills out of their four losses.
In the early 90s, as the third and fourth of the 4 straight losses.
Right.
So you can't tell me that Belichick and Brady are losing 2 years in a row, especially to relatively inexperienced opponents, the Eagles and the Rams in this case, and inexperienced coaches and quarterbacks.
Sure. Correct me if I'm wrong here. I'm hearing and seeing a more brash Tom Brady, one whether it's leaving for the game site and we're still here with that chant, and some of his answers seems to be a little, not that he doesn't deserve to be cocky, but they seem to be a little cocky.
Sure, and I think Tom Brady is ripping page after page after page from the Michael Jordan school. They're cut from the same cloth. Brady always looks for the slightest slight for motivation, and he's had plenty of it this year. You're too old. Your team's too old. Belichick and Brady, we're sick of you. You guys are going to lose you lost 5 times in the regular season, therefore you're vulnerable. Here come the Chargers, the plucky Chargers. They're coming into Foxborough to beat you. Then you're underdogs against the Chiefs. Now you're basically a pick-em at the start by Vegas before the public jumped on. Yeah, but every step of the way, Brady is able to fuel himself with these perceived slights or real slights, and that's what's motivating him, I think, to be this brash.
And despite the amount of Super Bowls he's won, and this will be his 9th appearance in a Super Bowl, he's still lost some.
Yeah, what's amazing about the Patriots under Belichick and Brady, besides the fact that this is Super Bowl number 9 in a salary cap year when it's supposed to be difficult to do, these two guys have been amazing. But you look at the 8 they've played, and you could make a solid case that they could be 1-7.
Yeah. Seattle game.
Get this, 8-0.
Yeah, they could.
Their 3 losses are Giants, and
with the head catch,
and the Eagles, which were, I mean, you could say, well, they had to scramble to make it competitive against the Eagles, but I still think that was a very competitive game for the most part.
Right.
But the 2 Giants wild games. Meanwhile, on the other side, the wins, you had the crazy one with Seattle where Wilson threw the pick at the goal line. You had the what were the other ones here? You've had kicks to win the Rams, kick to win the Panthers. So yeah, I mean, it's remarkable how the only one that I think that I can recall that the Patriots won decisively was the Eagles against McNabb and Teal.
Right, yeah, a long time ago. No question about that. 216-575-0403. As you know, you can follow us at facebook.com/More Sports and Less Levine. We asked some questions today. What are you more interested in watching in Super Bowl 53, the game or the commercials? Andy Mees says every Super Bowl Brady is in, I get more and more interested in the commercials rather than the game itself. I don't understand that logic. A talking dog is more interesting than watching an organization full of cheaters. There's the answer. Peter J. Butler, hello, Mr. Levine. I am completely interested in the game itself. The commercials are fun, but nothing more than a bonus to the broadcast. Dennis Davis says the game. This is kind of interesting. Gregory Mees says definitely the game. I think the commercials lately have not been up to par. And Carmen Tolino says I'm interested in watching the Patriots lose. It's interesting how some people view this game.
It is remarkable, Les, when you think about the landscape of the major sports, and I'm talking specifically about NFL, NBA, and MLB. There's not a lot of parity, really. I mean,
there's not a lot of parity, and there's not a lot of likability among some of the winners.
True, and I think what you're seeing is Patriots fatigue, as well as Golden State Warriors fatigue. People are like, okay, we get it. You're a dynasty. You're great. Now let's get the next the new thing, the new fresh thing. But the Warriors and the Patriots have a right to say we're not done yet.
Yeah, that is true.
And why should they cash it in if they don't want to?
Let's check out MS&LL headlines for the day. Brought to you by Northfield Park, your home for live and simulcast racing. Here we go as we head into the weekend. You've got the Browns raised their ticket prices about 7%, D-Man. And the lower bowl totally raised around the whole stadium.
They can get away with it.
Bryce Harper to meet with San Diego tonight in his home of Las Vegas. And Kristaps Porzingis about to be traded to the Mavs. This is not just speculation. This is just dotting the I's and crossing the T's.
Credit Cuban for getting Porzingis to go with Doncic. That'll be a nice pairing. Honestly, I don't think they gave up that much, to be quite frank.
And they're in
I think
town.
it's a good deal for the Mavericks.
Mavericks to play the Cavaliers tomorrow at the Q. So we'll by that time that trade will be official. I'm quite sure. And time for the truth and reason. Well, I see Bryce Harper's finally going to do something, apparently. And if he does, that means the floodgates should open and other teams will start signing some of the players that are still out there. So, D-Man, something like 200 free agents still around. That's hard to believe as we head into February 1st. But we're going to find out what the Indians have been thinking, if they've been thinking anything. Maybe they've just been biding their time, waiting for something to happen. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen in the next couple of days. And when you look at that outfield for the Cleveland Indians, you've got to believe something is going to be done in the next couple of days. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. And you can email us during the show at the address you see at the bottom of the screen, reallesslevine@gmail.com. Dennis Manoloff is with us. Little switch next week. Bud Shaw will join us on Monday after the Super Bowl. Paul Hoynes will join us on Tuesday. D-Man, you're still same cleanup spot in the lineup on Thursday.
All right. That sounds good. And speaking of Hoynes, he'll be leaving for Goodyear soon. The truck's left today, I believe it was.
Today. Yeah, we got some film on that, which we'll show a little bit later.
I wonder if they'll pick up any outfielders on the way to Goodyear.
Just to be out there hitchhiking with a glove in one hand and your thumb out.
Harper will play for food.
Or 300 million.
Bryce.
No question about that. All right, you can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/More Sports. Les Levine with new content posted each and every day. As you saw, we'll get your picture on. We'll get your comments on right here on More Sports and Les Levine, which is seen exclusively on cleveland.com.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program has been recognizing role model students and teachers since 2007. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Supporting Education. There, you can nominate students in kindergarten through 12th grade as academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as the Teacher of the Month. Every school that participates is eligible for the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
31st of January, let's check out the birthdays for the day. Don Hudson, who scored 6 touchdown passes in one game for the Green Bay Packers back in the day. Jackie Robinson would be 100 today, D-Man. How about that demarcation? Ernie Banks, I don't know that I ever realized that Let's Play 2, Ernie was born on the same date, had the same birthday as Jackie Robinson. Hank Gary, who was really maybe the worst hitter in the history of baseball. He was a fine relief pitcher. It was a success if he fouled a pitch off. Nolan Ryan and Stand Up, 1947, all born on the 31st of January. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Time to bring in Mike Masetta from Nature Stone to find out what Mike's thinking. Mike, we got all kinds of stuff going on. How are you tonight?
I'm doing well, Les. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. D-Man, Dennis Manoloff is here. He wants to yell at you about something.
No, I just want to know what Mike's thinking about the Super Bowl.
All right, what's Mike thinking about the Super Bowl?
Well, I got to go with the Patriots. I just, I think that I just have this feeling that this might be Brady's last year. I know he said it wasn't going to be, but I just have this feeling that he may go, and I wouldn't doubt it if Belichick, if he wins it here, retires and turns it over to McDaniels at some point. So, there's only so long that they can continue to do this thing together. I know Brady's in pretty good shape for his age, but I got to think that at some point they're going to make that decision, and this may be the year to do it if they beat the Rams.
Well, I mentioned earlier that it seems like he's more cocky or more visible than ever. I'm talking about Brady, and maybe what you're saying has something to do with it. D-Man, what do you think, this being the last game possibly of both guys?
I mean, I suppose it's possible, but I would say no. Especially, first of all, if they lose, absolutely not. There's no way they're going out back-to-back losses. Yeah. And if they win, I think it'll just feed Brady's competitive juices. Here's the one thing, Mike, and last thing you got to remember about Tom Brady. Not only is he in great physical condition for his age, but how many times does he actually get knocked down during the course of a 12-month calendar?
No, not much.
Maybe a dozen? I mean, he doesn't go down during training camp. He doesn't go down during exhibition games because he barely plays. He almost never gets touched or sacked by that great offensive line, and he's not getting knocked down in the offseason. So that's what takes its toll on quarterbacks is the hits. He doesn't get hit.
No, he doesn't, but I'll tell you what, I've got the secret here to Mike and D-Man. I think he's tired of going home to Michelle Bunchen. And he wants to keep playing.
I will say this, Mike, you agree with me. If Giselle says you've had enough,
and then you had enough.
That's going to be it.
Happy life.
I would agree. If my wife told me it was enough, I would say yes. But in Tom Brady's case, it's Giselle, and I would do the same thing.
Yeah, let me just give you both young men little words of advice here, and that's happy wife, happy life.
Yes.
Amen.
All right, the Cavaliers seem to be waking up. I don't care who they're playing, and maybe they're getting Kevin Love back. Any thoughts on Cavaliers? First to you, Mike.
Well, again, we keep talking about this. They're not a good team. They're not going to be a good team. But they're playing hard the last couple of games, and they won 2 straight. I don't care who they're playing against. It's nice to see that. I hope they finish with at least one of the 5 worst records in the league. 'Cause I think percentage-wise, the worst 5 teams all have about the same percent of getting the number 1 pick. So that's a good thing, and I don't think that they're going to go any higher than the 3rd worst team. Yeah. But
how about
we'll
yesterday?
See what happens. But to me, I think they're an unfinished product, and obviously, and they're getting a lot of production out of or a lot of minutes out of their young guys. That's good for them for going forward, and we'll see what happens when Love comes back.
How about you guys? Did you think they were going to blow that 25-point lead?
Yes,
I did.
I did
actually
too.
did. When the fact that they had a look at a 3 to tie
Right.
was remarkable to me.
Okay, quickly,
Wizards.
because
Funny thing with that, my son was upstairs watching the game, and I was watching down on the couch. And every time the Wizards would score, he'd say, "Dad, they're down by 22. Dad, they're down by 19." And
He had the
kept
countdown.
giving me updates. I said, "I know I'm watching it." But I think we both thought that they were going to lose that game.
all right, quickly, the Indians, their trucks left Progressive Field today on the way to Arizona, and no deal yet. But I think that if San Diego, which I can't believe, is now in the hunt with Bryce Harper, I think if there's a signature there in the next day, I think everything opens up. How about you?
Absolutely, and that's, I think, what both D-Man and myself have been waiting for is once that Harper and Harper will go, then Machado, or vice versa, however that works out, and then the Kluber trade will transition from there. I do like the move that they made with Oliver Perez. I mean, he's a lefty on lefty matchup guy. They're not paying him a ton of money. They're bringing him back. It gives you an arm in the bullpen, and I think that was sort of one of those underscored moves that Antonetti and his group do that makes their team just a lot better.
All right, if you were betting $1 on the game Sunday, you're going with New England. Is that correct?
I'm taking New England all the way.
Don't bet more than $1. All right, Mike Mancetta from Nature Stone. Great place. Check them out on the web at naturestone.com. Mike, we'll talk to you real soon.
All right, guys. Take care.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right. Is he right on the Indian situation?
Well, I've been saying it too, that I think Kluber will be moved because he's been talked about too much in the offseason. Now, having said that, I was reading just before we got on the show about how it looks like Kluber might not be moved because the Indians are not getting enough back in return in proposed trades, and that's fine. That's fine. If the Indians say no, we're not going to just move them for the sake of moving them. However, if you don't trade Kluber, you still have to figure out at least 1/3 of your lineup.
Yeah, the outfield.
Well, and then either first base or DH,
right.
Depending on which one Santana's not occupying.
So a little bit later.
And you're not going to get anything, I think, offensively at the catching position.
That's correct.
And you're banking on Kipnis giving you something in his final year. So
Too many
that
questions.
lineup has a huge amount of holes. If you hold on to Kluber, you've got to fill them somewhere.
All right, a little later we'll show you some of the stats as far as the rotation is concerned. You're going to be happy about that. If they don't make a deal, you're going to be happy with what you see. Northfield Park is your home for live and simulcast racing. You can catch the excitement of live harness racing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, as well as Saturday evenings. Post time 6 p.m. all of those nights. Open early at noon, though, for simulcast action from the top thoroughbred and harness tracks all around the world. Enjoy free handicapping contests all weekend long, including the highly popular Road to the Derby contest on Saturdays. It's free admission, free parking every day at Northfield Park. We'll come on back in a moment. Dennis Manoloff with us. Thanks to Mike Mancetta. We're seen exclusively on cleveland.com.
Your basement is damp, dirty, and not somewhere you want to spend time. Let Nature Stone Flooring transform your basement into a true extension of your home. Nature Stone's proprietary hydrostatic ports allow water to simply evaporate, so no mold or mildew. Plus, it has a higher insulation rating than carpet and is warmer than linoleum, vinyl, wood, or tile.
Schedule your free in-home estimate easily online today and get up to 50% off.
Nature Stone is the affordable basement floor solution that beautifies your home. Nature Stone, the only concrete solution.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget, Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
All right, D-Man, time for a How Come Quickie. How come the Dallas Mavericks are trading for a Porzingis when they could just as easily have a rich one? Why would you want a Porzingis when you can have a rich Zingis? I don't know.
Good one.
He's a good player.
Yeah.
I would have liked to see him here.
Yeah.
I don't know. They had no assets for him.
No.
All right, 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Dennis Manoloff of cleveland.com and the Plain Dealer. You made a great point during the break that I hadn't even thought about. Go ahead, repeat it.
Well, the Rams are at a distinct disadvantage where Nickel Roby-Coleman is concerned. He was the guy, of course, infamously commits the pass interference against Tommy Lee Lewis in the Saints game, doesn't get called. All right, so everybody's been about that still. But here's the problem. The Rams need Roby-Coleman, especially when the Patriots run all their little rugrats at you, their five wides or whatever it is. They go spread, empty, all that. You've got to have a good game from Roby-Coleman. The problem is he's not going to be able to breathe on any receiver.
No, they're going to be blowing whistles left and right.
Oh, my goodness. You think Belichick, not that he had to, but you think he hasn't already said, hey, if that guy puts a hand on any of my guys, I better see a flag.
What did you think in general of the State of the Union of the NFL by Roger Goodell?
I would think something of it if I heard it. I didn't really care to hear it. Anything jump out at you? I honestly missed it. I saw pictures of him.
No, he said stuff like, hey, referees and players are human, so they can make mistakes. Yeah, but that was an egregious mistake that could have been changed, something could have been done.
Did he or did he not, though, say, I thought I read where he said that they have to look into it at least to see if there's a potential remedy there?
Yeah, and then you got guys on the, you got owners who said, no, we're not going to do it. Here's the problem. It's so obvious that should have been called. There's no question. But here's the problem. If let's say it was close, but it wasn't a penalty.
Yes.
And let's say you had a challenge, an extra challenge that you could run. If you're a coach, you had one challenge per half, let's say, that for calls that were not called. Well, what do you do if in that case if it was close, but you found a holding call or you found a slap to the helmet or something away from the ball? What do you do then?
I agree. There are perhaps too many permutations to try to solve it. I've said though that I think you could take it out of the coach's hands. Have one guy from the league in the booth upstairs.
With a buzzer.
With a buzzer, and it's only for the catastrophic miss, all right? Because as I've said, in every game, not all plays are the same. Not all points are the same. Not all completions. In basketball, not all shots are the same. You judge different plays differently based on when they happen in the game. Therefore, in my solution, this guy who's up in the booth wouldn't really come into play until late in the fourth quarter of a close game.
All right, here's my problem with it. I've been watching football way too many years. I'm not sure I know what a catch is anymore.
I think they did a better job, though. They did a better job this year of clarifying it after last year, remember, with Jesse James and everything.
Right.
But you're right. I mean, some of it is still up for interpretation.
The point of the ball touched, the point of the ball didn't touch. Did he have, even though it hit the ground, did he have control of it?
I didn't think, Les, that was as much of an issue as what DBs were not allowed to do, Roby-Coleman notwithstanding, to receivers. Because it's become such an offensive league, you're seeing NFL offenses resembling Arena Football League stuff.
I just think on the catch, if it looks like a catch, it is a catch. That's the simplified rule of it. But they're bringing in 2 or 3 different caveats that I don't even know what they are anymore.
Sure.
So,
but I still think the league, even though the Saints feel otherwise, the league is in a good spot. I mean, it's king.
It's king.
All right, it is. And the Super Bowl is going to have Boku ratings. Everybody's going to be happy, and the Saints will be in the dustbin of history after Sunday.
And one of the great things about our Northeast Ohio area is the Hall of Fame. Hall of Famer Kurt Warner worked with Freddie Kitchens for several years in Arizona, and he had a lot to say about the new Cleveland Browns head coach.
He's kind of a good old boy that kind of tells you like it is. He's going to work hard. He's going to put in the time and the effort that it needs. I think he's going to relate great to the players because he's going to be straightforward with them. And obviously we've seen what he's done as a coach. You know, he's a different coach now than he was when I was with him, you know, very early in his career at that point and, you know, learning the ropes and those things. But I think he's picked up things from a lot of different coaches that have had a lot of great success in this game. And we saw that correlate to what he did with Baker and what they did offensively when he took over. And so I'm excited for him. You know, I talked to him, you know, a couple years ago when he was in Arizona and Bruce Arians was moving on. And, you know, at that point in time, he felt he was ready to step into a head coaching job and, you know, never really got the opportunity at that point in time. So when it came around this time, I know he was, you know, excited to just have the opportunity to present himself and what he would be as a head coach. And now to get that job, like I said, I'm extremely excited for him and the opportunity that it presents for him, and I think he's going to do a great job.
I've always thought Kurt Warner was one of the great stories in NFL football. Bagging groceries one week, playing football.
At the High V.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was Arena Football League legend for the Iowa Barnstormers. But I mean, Mary Kay Cabot on the scene for the Kurt Warner interview, by the way, our own Mary Kay. If he's good enough for Kurt Warner, is he good enough for you, Kitchens?
You'd have to say that, and I feel I'm still in the afterglow of John Dorsey. You know, John Dorsey, until he proves otherwise, I'm behind him too.
Sure. I mean, that's exactly right. I don't know of many missteps by John Dorsey so far. So how do you sit there and say, wow, they're definitely coming around the corner? I mean, he has every right to say, look, I get all the, you know, the goofiness that happened before me, but this is a new era.
I wasn't here.
We're going to raise ticket prices because we have Baker. By the way, I was thinking of this.
Only 7%.
When you put it up on the graphic. You know, remember how Encarnacion had the attendance kicker?
After 200, after 2 million.
I want to say that was in for the life of the deal, right? Was it for all 3 years?
I thought year by year.
Because I wonder if that's carried over to his new employer. But also Baker Mayfield. I wonder if there's anything in Mayfield's contract about that type of thing. I doubt it.
I doubt it too.
Because the NFL would never want to do that. They'd never want to give their money away to draft picks. But if I had been Mayfield, like, okay, I'll settle for your base numbers, but how about you throw in a little attendance kicker or a souvenir kicker give me 10 cents for every dollar spent.
Somebody's going to have to. Now, in Encarnacion's deal, I think each increment was $100,000, I think, dollars. But there was somebody way back, I don't know if it was Gaylord Perry or somebody that turned down a big contract and instead put an attendance clause in there of something like a nickel a seat or a dime a seat, and it worked out to his advantage somehow. Somebody's going to have to help me on that one. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. You can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/More Sports and Les Levine, with new content posted each and every day. And as you saw earlier, we'll show your pictures, show your words, and we'll talk about it right here on More Sports and Les Levine, which is seen exclusively on cleveland.com.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant. Whatever it takes.
It takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling to bring the heat when things get chilly. Find us at 440-449-HEAT.
Let's look at this date in sports history, January 31st, 1988. Washington Redskins beat the Denver Broncos 42-10. Super Bowl 22, Doug Williams throws for 4 touchdowns in that game. Total upset. At that point, D-Man, people didn't think John Elway would ever get himself a Super Bowl.
Right. Doug Williams, Timmy Smith, I believe, was the running back for the Redskins. That was, of course, one of the...
This came after the drive, right?
Yeah, that was one of the... Well...
what was the date on that
I thought
again?
it was I thought the drive was the year 86. The fumble would be 87.
Yeah, 87. Yeah, that's right.
And then the blowout was 89.
There you go. So and this game was
after
played in
Biner.
88 after Briner's fumble. Yeah. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Somebody, I don't know if it was you, me, or somebody else, a caller, talked about the trucks leaving from Progressive Field out to Goodyear, Arizona. Let's take a look at it.
It is every day for us, but I know it's exciting. Like, I mean, honestly, like some stuff starts in May for us. Like some of the bigger companies like Nike, they need orders in May so they can get the stuff turned around to us in time. So like it's a long process for us. And so then when we finally get to actually load the truck and it's like, okay, it's here now, we can go, we can get started. And that's kind of like, none of us do this because we like sitting in the cold. And, you know, it's the fun part is when you get out there and you start interacting and you get to do baseball stuff. So uniform sets are on, all that stuff. So when we get there, we'll be able to just take them right off the rack, put them right in the locker so the guys will be able to start. That stuff's all on there. Like I said, there's a lot of weight equipment that's going this year, all the medical. Then there's certain things that we use here and there so that we transport some of that stuff. Like there's an x-ray machine on there this year. Some bats this year, the turnaround on bats has been a little better. So we've usually, in a few years past, all the bats have just shipped directly to Arizona. Right. This year we actually had some here in Cleveland, so that stuff went. The larger companies like Nike and Majestic require us to forecast what we're going to order. So we have to tell them in May, you know, we're going to order 200 short sleeve shirts and this many blank jerseys, and then as it gets closer and as we find out exactly who's going to be on the team, then we can give them the specifics. Or we need a jersey for Kluber, we need a jersey for so-and-so. If we were just going to Arizona and then we knew we were going to Los Angeles and then coming back to Cleveland, we wouldn't worry about taking winter parkas and winter hats and all that stuff, but this is a year that we have to worry about all that, so we have extra stuff just to prepare for Minnesota.
All right, seeing that is great. Hearing the words pitchers and catchers report is even better. What did you want to say?
Yeah, when I see that footage, what I think of is how difficult it must be to succeed, not only to make the major leagues, but to succeed at the major leagues. When you think about the caliber of player you have to be.
Right.
I mean, I grew up on the minor leagues, and I covered the minor leagues for a lot of the 90s and into the 2000s. And I'm looking at low minor leaguers, just awesome. And they're not even, and the vast majority of minor leaguers I interviewed in my career never made it.
Yeah, when I played sandlot ball, I thought, you know, it was at a pretty good level. And you look around, maybe only one guy from Cleveland was drafted every other year. And that's when they had 25, 30 rounds of drafting.
Unless you're one of the lucky ones. I mean, not only were you talented, but you got to play with a guy who won a Cy Young.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I mean, that's incredible.
Played with Steve Stone we're talking about. Played from the Little League, junior high, senior high, sandlots. It was, you know what? I thought he was too small to make it, but I knew he was smarter than everybody else out there. And that's what it turned out to be. Well, let's take a look at the Indians and their rotation. What it expects to be and what people think of it. Look at this, D-Man. We're talking about one of the top 5 pitching rotations. This is by Bleacher Report. They've got the Indians #1, followed by Washington, the Dodgers, St. Louis, and Houston. That means you don't get another American League team until the fifth spot. Then the strength here of the rotation, and you can look at all the numbers here. This is from their starting pitching in 2008.
you can't go wrong if you retain Kluber, and I think Bauer's not going anywhere.
Right.
The only guy who would be moved is Kluber. You have Kluber, Bauer, Carrasco, Clevenger, Bieber in your 5-hole, and that leaves Plutko waiting in the wings as your depth guy. Plutko, in my mind, could start for
a lot of teams.
2/3 of the teams in the major leagues. So you have an embarrassment of riches on the rotation side. The problem is you're really lean offensively.
Yeah, and if you get through 6 innings with your rotation guys, then what?
That's true. I mean, beyond Hand and a little bit of Oliver Perez and maybe a little bit of Simber, who else do you really have a lot of faith in that bullpen?
Right now, well, that's why I think Francona's probably very happy that he got Perez back, the left-hander.
Sure.
Let's go to the phones. We'll go to Pepper Pike. BP standing by. Hello, BP.
Hey, guys. How you doing tonight?
Okay, how about you?
Doing well. I know you guys are just talking baseball, but I wanted to talk to you. Obviously, this is your last show of the week, but I wanted to sort of chime in on my prediction for the Super Bowl.
By all means.
We're all ears.
I saw D-Man. I'm pretty sure I saw D-Man's prediction. He's got the Patriots by maybe 4 or 5 points. Is that correct?
15, 35-20.
Oh, okay. Okay, it was close. But
35-20. Okay.
No, that's. I also predict the Patriots win, but I've got it more like 34-28, like a pretty high-scoring game. But in the end, I just think Tom Brady to me is the ultimate gunslinger. I just think, no lead is safe, and then he brings the team back, and all he needs is a sliver of talent. It could be Julian Edelman, it could be, Gronkowski. He's got a good running back now, Sony Michel. So,
Gronkowski looks like he's reborn out there, doesn't he?
Or maybe, maybe he's been sort of conserving himself for like these important 3 games.
Maybe.
He didn't have a great regular season as far as I can recall. And, it's a brutal season, and obviously, maybe he's saving the best for last. I just heard a report also that Gronkowski, is seriously being considered for like some kind of a Hollywood roles after he's done with football, which could be sooner than later. That he could be the next, like The Rock or one of the Arnold Schwarzenegger type of guy.
But BP, I'll tell you what though, Gronk will do whatever he does on Sunday, but the guys who are going to win it for the Patriots other than Brady are James White and Julian Edelman.
Yeah, Edelman's got a bigger chance to be the hero than Gronk does, I think.
I mean, good luck, Rams, trying to cover Edelman and then White out of the backfield.
But don't you think if you're Los Angeles, you try to make him throw long if he can?
Well, you'd love to, but you know how the Patriots operate. Nobody, in my mind, in the history of the game has dinked and dunked better than Tom Brady. That's not knocking him as a quarterback. It's simply saying he executes the short game and the dump-offs and the screens better than anybody I've ever seen.
All right, you got him 34-28.
One last thing I'd like to mention is, the Rams are missing. I thought their best receiver during the season was that guy Cooper Kupp, and so he is out for this game. I think that will hurt the Rams. And, he's like their 6'2", 200-pound sort of, possession receiver, so I think they will miss that. And I think, the Patriots will win, but I hate to see Belichick win again, but it looks like it's going to happen.
All right, BP. Thank you.
Take care, guys.
I think L.A. needs to have Gurley healthy. I don't know what's going on. If he's not healthy,
he certainly didn't look healthy.
No.
He barely played against the Saints, although they did score a touchdown. I think 4 carries, 10 yards. Yeah. McVay is great. Okay, fine, but Belichick's going to be like, you're not going to become the next Belichick on my watch. All right.
216-575-0403 is the number to call if you'd like to get in. We got 2 more segments to go. And the D-man, Dennis Manoloff, is with me. Guess who joined me today at Sokolowski's University in? Bud Shaw, the great Bud Shaw.
Bud's doing amazing things.
He is terrific. And sports professional Mike was there. And Tim Tebow, we call this one guy Tim Tebow. I don't know why, but we do. But good stalking opportunities.
Major League invite to the Mets. Tebow.
Did he get it?
Yeah.
He didn't make the 40-man roster, did he?
Well, no, but I mean, he's a Major League invite. Yeah,
well, his former agent is the GM of that team. Sokolowski's University Inn. They make every list of anything. If you're looking for the top place to go in Cleveland, this is it for lunch, 11 to 3, Monday through Friday, then for dinner on Friday and Saturday nights. D-Man and I return in a moment right here on cleveland.com.
The concrete in your garage is uneven, cracked, pitted, and and just plain ugly. Transform your garage into a welcoming entryway with Naturestone flooring. Reduce tracked-in dirt, eliminate puddling and salt damage. Plus, Naturestone corrects uneven concrete so you don't have to worry about tripping or slipping.
Call or go to naturestone.com to schedule your free in-home estimate today and get up to 50% off.
Naturestone is the affordable garage floor solution that beautifies your home. Naturestone, the only concrete solution.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program has been recognizing role model students and teachers since 2007. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Supporting Education. There, you can nominate students in kindergarten through 12th grade as academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as the Teacher of the Month. Every school that participates is eligible for the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
D-Man, it's time for this date in Les Levine history, January 30th, 2019. Les declares it's Hugh Jackson Day in Cleveland in honor of being 1-31. That's the date, 131, and the two seasons in his stead here in Cleveland.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to straight up steal that. And I'm tweeting that during the next break.
You got it.
Today is Hugh Jackson Day. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, they'll say why. It's 131.
Oh, that's
all right.
fantastic.
Listen, we got because this is the last show, the live show of the week. We got to give you our wrap up. This is in 1967 in honor of the Super Bowl. Number one, Les and two friends go bowling. Les shot a 300. That's a 300 series, D-Man, not a 300 game. You're the bowling expert.
By the way.
Wait, tell me in a minute. Tell me in a minute.
Sorry.
We got to go to Tuesday. Les got his teacher very upset when she asked how many months have 28 days in them, and he answered all of them. Yeah. One more.
Touche.
Touche. This back in 1979, Les suggests that the Super Bowl should be 2 out of 3 match. First game on Sunday, then Wednesday, game 3 on the next Sunday. Members of the local sports media suggest that his credentials should be suspended for at least 8 to 10 years. All right, you were going to say what?
Speaking of bowling,
yeah.
Last week we talked about Rick Parshin and his 132.
Did he do it again?
Yes, last night. I asked him the other day, I said, give me another perfect game. You've gone a few months without one.
Right.
So last night I get this text, and it showed the screen, and it was the 207, 300, 245.
You know, I wonder.
Number 133.
I wonder, because you're more into stats than I am. I wonder, like, of his 3-game series, of course, you're talking about 3 games in what you're bowling. How many total 300 games now?
133.
Okay, so how many do you think it's evenly spread, game 1, game 2, game 3?
That's a great question. I didn't ask that. That's a good one. I don't know if he would remember exactly, but
I just would think if you did it in game 2, you'd just totally fall apart in game 3, but not a guy like that.
How about this, Les? He had a 300 in which he went head-to-head with a guy in a tournament. They both shot 300.
No kidding.
They had a 2-frame roll-off, and the guy beat him 60 to 59.
Oh, no. That's not right.
Tony Brooks.
It's not right at all. Larry Drew has put together 2 wins in a row for the Cavaliers. They'll go for number 3 on Saturday against the Dallas Mavericks. And he may have Kevin Love in his arsenal. Let's listen in.
He actually did pretty well. Moved around really well. Got a little winded, which is as expected. That's the first time that he's really been in a contact situation where we actually went up and down and there was actual contact. But I thought he moved really well, shot the ball well, passed the ball well. But like I said, he got tired. He got a little tired, got a little winded, which I just finished talking to him. That was expected. But hopefully, hopefully tomorrow there are no setbacks tomorrow when he comes to practice tomorrow, and we'll see how he is.
So can you project then when Kevin Love up playing a game?
I cannot project it. No, you know, again, we're just kind of waiting to see how he is. You know, after going through a full practice with contact, and like I said, we'll look at tomorrow and see how he is when he comes in tomorrow. If there are no setbacks, you know, we'll have another practice and see how he does. But I can't project, you know, when he will actually be ready to play the game.
You know, Larry Drew seems like a great guy, but the pressure on him and all NBA coaches. I mean, right now he's won 2 in a row. It feels like a rock has been taken off of him.
Yeah, and when you realize, realistically, what is he supposed to do? You know, you hear,
go out there and play the games.
Yeah, you hear, okay, after this year, they're going to move on from Drew. They want a different call. Okay, fine, but what is Drew supposed to do with this crew, you know?
No, I think I'd like to see him in games longer than halftime. I mean, there's many games. They've been doing that a little bit, but many games are already decided by halftime. But how about the other night? He's up by 25 with what, 3 minutes left?
Yeah,
I mean,
it seemed like that. It might have been 5 minutes or
whatever.
But you're right. It was something like 17 with 3 minutes
just to get
go.
the ball in bounds at that point.
And the free throws they were missing. Oh my!
They weren't even missing. They were clanking them. Yeah. It was tough, no question about that. Dennis Manoloff is with us. If you want to get in for the last segment, you can do that. But we're going to check in with the Ohio Lottery's partners in education. They recognize students who are role models from across the state of Ohio. This week we head to Brecksville High and we meet Izzy Abakir. She excels in gymnastics and in the classroom as well. The Ohio Lottery proud to salute Izzy, this week's Shining Star.
You won't find a tougher kid than Izzy Abakir. The Brecksville senior has been competing in pain for years, but she will not quit.
For me, because I expect so much from myself, so it's been hard to accept that all the skills I could do before I got injured, I may not be able to do today.
Abakir injured her shoulder in the spring of 17. She even had surgery, but it still hurts to this day.
She's had surgery and it's just not getting better. Yeah, I mean, she's trying, she's doing therapy, she ices it, she does everything she can. Some things just don't heal real good.
And yet, Izzy came through in last year's state gymnastics meet. She helped the Bees win their 15th straight state title by competing in 3 events. The very next day, in the individual competition, Abakir finished 5th on floor. And through it all, she smiled.
I still need to remember that I should just be grateful to even be able to do gymnastics because some people don't have the opportunity after they get hurt.
Izzy is there for practice every day, and afterwards, she hits the books. Abakir's 4.5 GPA is off the charts, even though she's taking 4 AP classes.
I expect a lot from myself, so I think that's why I succeed so well in school.
Abakir applied to 8 schools and got into all of them, but she hasn't picked one out yet. Given her history, Izzy wants to go into physical therapy, but she is done with gymnastics after the state meet. If Brecksville wins it again, it will be because of the senior leadership of Izzy Abakir.
She's a great motivator to the kids. Even when she wasn't around, she would be sending them notes and just come on, positive attitudes, and it's been great.
It's just such a great opportunity as a senior to be captain and being able to lead the team because it's really fun and it's just awesome to be a role model for the younger gymnasts.
Well, if you know a student deserving of recognition, visit OhioLottery.com. Go to the About section and find the tab that is marked Supporting Education to nominate him or her as an academic all-star. He or she could end up as one of our shining stars from the Ohio Lottery. You can follow us on Facebook at, first of all, you need to follow us at Northfield Park. There, you're home for live and simulcast racing. Catch the excitement. Harness racing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, as well as Saturday evenings. Post time 6 p.m. on all of those nights, but they open early at noon for simulcast action from the top thoroughbred and harness tracks all around the world. It's free admission, free parking every day. That's at Northfield Park. Now I can tell you about Facebook, facebook.com/more sports and less Levine, with new content posted each and every day. D-Man, earlier we talked about bonuses for ticket sales, attendance clause. Cleveland Bill writes, and I think he's right on this, he said Frank Lane, who was the Indians general manager back in the late 50s, the Calavito for Keene deal that he made. He'll go down in history for that. He says Frank Lane got a base salary of some $50,000, then a nickel a seat for everyone over $800,000 in attendance. He says that's partially from what he remembers and partially from the Cleveland Indians Encyclopedia, which, by the way, I looked at today. Rush Snyder put that together. Have you've got that copy?
It's
or not?
amazing.
It's unbelievable.
How much is in there?
To read stuff about the 1909 team and the 1932 team is unbelievable. The late, great Rush Snyder. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. The D-Man, Dennis Manoloff. I've got a couple of minutes to go. Anything left over here that you haven't expounded upon?
Well, with the Super Bowl, as we know, it's not a game anymore. It's an event.
Yep.
It's a happening for the Patriots. It's a lifestyle and their fans. Prop bets have sprouted up over the years as a cottage industry.
Sure.
And now it's a huge part of Super Bowl Sunday.
Are there any that can be, I don't want to say fixed, but somebody knows, like, for example, if they somebody's singing the national anthem and you have on record what they've done with the national anthem, but I would presume that the guys who set up the prop bets, they know of them.
Right, and here's the thing. I mean, if you're Gladys Knight, all you have to do, and we said this about other national anthem singers at Super Bowls, is just go onto the internet and see, hey, what do they have as my over-under? Okay, I think I'm going to air it out a little bit, and I'll just send a signal to a few of my friends who are in Vegas. I mean, there's always that risk. How about Tony Romo? I mean, there's prop bets on how many times is he going to say, here we go? Or is he going to say, here we go? Because that's his favorite phrase.
By the way, he was tremendous last week.
Oh, I'm really happy that we have Romo and Nance. No disrespect to Michaels, Collinsworth, or the leads on the other networks, but Romo, I can't wait to hear what Romo says on a Super Bowl. But the prop bets are fantastic. They're fun. The cross sports prop bets you can do.
Throw in whoever's playing basketball.
Pick an NBA
day.
game and say, okay, this guy's amount of points, is it going to equal Tom Brady's pass attempts? Things like that. So, and you don't even have to bet money on it. You can have bragging rights. You can do sheets like pools as you do with the NCAA.
The Romo one there could be a payoff involved though. You could fix that one.
Well,
if you get in on Romo and say, hey, say it 12 times.
Right. I mean,
whatever.
If you're Romo or you're Jim Nance, because one of them I saw on one of the betting sites was, will Nance and Romo refer to, will they say genius on the air during the game?
Right.
I think they will, because they're going to be talking. No, I said they wouldn't because they'll let Belichick. They said, will Belichick be referred to as a genius? But there's another one. How many times greatest of all time will be said?
Yeah.
That's going to be said multiple times because you have Belichick, you have Brady, and they could say Aaron Donald is a future GOAT.
One of the things the broadcast people have to be careful about is the fact that you're probably 50% or maybe more are people who haven't seen a minute of a game all year. They're at a party, they're at a Super Bowl party, so they can't get too highbrow for the average person watching. Or do they just give that up?
I don't think they worry about the average person watching because they think the average person watching is going to do what is expected on Super Bowl Sunday. Get up to go, to the snack bar and do other things. Romo will do what he does that we can appreciate, but the casual fan will just have a lot of fun watching the game. Doesn't have to worry about the minutia.
How early, Belichick and probably McVay also. They do things in the first quarter that you think they've been saving up for the last 2 weeks, but the reality is they may be saving up for the second half by running some plays in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, I could see, and you've seen it with McDaniel's offenses with Brady, where he's a master at setting up defenses. Okay, I'll show you this look in the first quarter, and then I'll spring you with this.
And don't think that's all we got.
As far as Belichick having like trick plays up his sleeve, I don't think that's his style. I don't think McVay is going to try any hijinks because he knows Belichick is too fundamentally sound. His teams are.
And you can't change at this point of the season, I don't think.
You would think not. And here's another problem for the Rams. Aaron Donald and that defensive line is going to have a heck of a time getting to Brady because the most underrated element of the Patriots is that offensive line. Underrated by those who don't watch closely, if you will. I mean, of course, Pro Football Focus loves them and the rest, but that offensive line against the Chiefs, a good pass rush. no quarterback, no sacks, 1 hit.
Right.
Brady just doesn't get hit. That offensive line is that good. So I think when you neutralize Donald and the gang, it's going to be very difficult for the Rams.
See who won the award for the best lineman of the year?
I did not.
Mitchell Schwartz.
Wow.
I mean.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Not just tackle. He was best of all linemen.
You were a big Mitchell Schwartz guy.
Well,
you still are, obviously. But
yeah.
I mean, you were pounding the table that he should stay here.
Well, I thought that was one of the biggest mistakes that regime made. And as it turned out, they tried to lowball him. And he didn't have to take it. It's not like that's the only offer he had out there. But congratulations to Mitchell. All right, that's going to do it for us. Monday, we made a switch Monday because of the Super Bowl. We want Bud Cheyenne after that. On Tuesday, it'll be Paul Hines just before he goes on to Goodyear, Arizona. Wednesday, Terry Pluto. Then this guy, Dennis Manoloff, will be here on Thursday. Mark that down on your calendar. The great D-man, Dennis Manoloff.
I did send the tweet out. Hugh Jackson did. That was very
Excellent.
clever.
Thank you very much. We're going to give credit to Mike Bacon on that one. All right, that'll do it for us. We will see you on Monday. Of all the shows I've ever done, this was the most recent.